Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Michi Makes Up. Today's video is going to be about perfume and makeup. The first portion of this video is going to be about the brand Dossier. It is a paid collaboration with the brand. I've been interested in them for some time, so when they approached me, of course, I really wanted to try their scents. And the second portion of this video is going to be a ranking of my pink eyeshadow palettes. If you guys have seen my purple eyeshadow palette, it's the same idea. I take all my pink eyeshadow palettes and I rank them from ones that maybe I use the least to the ones that are my favorite. And so if you are into pink, definitely stay tuned for the second part. So the first part, Dossier approached me for this collaboration and sent me 2 perfume scents of my choice. I am especially interested in the Gucci perfume, so I'm gonna hold up the box here and show you. So these are what the perfumes come in, and I mentioned that I was really interested in the Gucci perfume, so I picked Floral Honeysuckle, which is inspired by Gucci's Bloom Eau de Parfum. And this little card here talks about the notes of the perfume, the concentration. And so the top notes of this perfume is green leaves, orange, honeysuckle. Middle notes, jasmine, sambac, tuberose, and base notes are orris, sandalwood, and vanilla. So I've actually gone out to try the Gucci Bloom Eau de Parfum, as well as the second scent that I chose is Floral Grapefruit. And the notes of this perfume, oh, by the way, it's inspired by Chanel's Chance Eau Tendre Eau de Parfum. And the top notes are grapefruit, bear, black currant. Middle notes, hyacinth, jasmine, lilac, and base notes are orris, musk, and amberwood. So Dossier is a company that reproduces high-end perfume. So that's why these scents are, inspired by these different brands. And they really do make scents and perfumes that are really quite affordable. They start at $29 and go all the way up to $59. You also have a 30-day return policy, so you could order these perfumes, try them. If you don't like them, you can actually return them within 30 days, full refund. They make it really easy for you to try them. So I want to talk about first Floral Grapefruit, which is inspired by Chanel's Eau de Tendre. This perfume here, it's just, I was really drawn to anything floral and light because we're heading, or actually we are into spring, and the weather's only going to get warmer. So I really wanted something nice and light, and this is exactly that. Now, when I wear this perfume compared to the Chanel one, I would say the main difference is the Chanel perfume from the bottle itself, and even as you just spray it, it does have a stronger scent. The notes that they talk about here, I think the amberwood in the Chanel perfume is like a bit more pronounced, and the musk too. This one I find a little bit lighter. However, it is quite similar to Chanel scent. And so let me spray it here. They're really quite similar. They both invoke that fresh spring, kind of flirty vibe, and it wears beautifully throughout the day. I would say the other difference to note is the way they dissipate. And depending on your own body chemistry, you could find that one perfume dissipates a little bit differently, and the notes that kind of stand out more is going to vary from person to person. But I think when it comes to inspiration and a reproduction of what Chanel has, they're actually quite similar. So I was very pleased to find that to be the case, and I do love scents with that grapefruit pairing in it. Yeah, it just smells beautiful. For the other scent, Floral Honeysuckle, which is inspired by Gucci's Bloom Eau de Parfum. This one here, very similar to the actual Gucci scent. I would say in terms of lightness, they're both it's very similar. It's hard to tell the difference, to be honest. And the one thing I find that Gucci's perfume, as I wear it during the day, as it dissipates, that sandalwood scent, those base notes, linger a little bit stronger than this one here. So let me just spray it. Yeah, these top notes and the middle notes, but the top notes especially, as you spray it, the green leaves, orange, and honeysuckle are just very prominent. And that's what I like about the perfume. And that's what attracted me to the Gucci perfume too, are these top notes that you get just right away. It's so fresh. It's like a burst of being in a garden. It's like if you walk into the garden and get hit with all the scent. That's how I feel when I smell this. And while these two, the two scents I chose, are both light and very spring-like, this one is overall just softer, but this one gives you just that burst of freshness. And it just depends on my mood which perfume that I'm going to wear. And Dossier is always adding new scents to their lineup, and I'm curious to see over time if some of my favorite perfumes are going to make it there. They did offer me a code to share with you guys. It's going to be active throughout the remainder of this month, and it's 10% off your order, which you can actually combine with a first-time welcome order they have on their website. You can get up to 20% when you order multiple items. They also have, they also give you the option to actually return and exchange your perfumes for free forever, which is an amazing policy. And they're also offering a new type of payment option at checkout. You can select catch or catch payment. This bypasses using credit cards or debit cards. They just take the money directly from your bank account. And the first time you use this payment option, you get $10 credit for your next purchase. And then every time you use this option, when you do purchase from them, you get 10% off store credit for use next time. So they've got a lot of deals going on, a lot of different scents. I definitely will see myself using these through the coming months, and I think I just love how gentle the Chanel scent is, the Chanel inspired scent, which is Floral Grapefruit. And just when I think I'm gonna wear this tomorrow, I smell the other scent. I'm like, oh, that burst of garden fresh just wakes me up, and I like that too. All right. Let me know if you have any questions below about Dossier and their perfumes. Let's move on to the eyeshadow palette rankings. I have 9 eyeshadow palettes that I want to show you guys, and we'll start at the bottom. So number 9 is going to be Natasha Denona's Mini Crush palette. I did a whole review video on this. If you're curious and you want to see a demo of it, swatches, I'll have a link below for you to head over. But this palette is at the bottom because of the quality of these shadows. They're just not the same quality, especially the mattes here, these 3. Not the same quality as the other minis that we've seen from her in recent years. So I don't see myself really going back to this. It's really a shame because it's really a nice color story. It's a nice pink palette. It was a great release and theme for Valentine's Day, but for those reasons, it's at the bottom of my list. At number 8 is going to be Hamish's. I think this is called the Rose Palette. And this was sent to me kindly by Stelvana, and it's beautiful. So they came with like a long brush, but I took this out. This pink here is, you can just center any look around this pink and you're gonna get a nice pink look. So the other shades just kind of complement it and doesn't drown it out. But of course, if you wanted to, given the palette, you can just focus on these shades here as well to get a deeper, smokier look. Given that this is a Korean brand, the shadows payoff is lighter, but I have no issues with the quality. They're great to diffuse, great to blend. It's just the style of the makeup in South Korea generally are on the softer side, but I've gotten very beautiful looks from this palette, so it's number 8 on my list. At number 7 is also going to be Natasha Denona. It's her mini love palette she released last year for Valentine's Day. Much different from the mini crush palette. I do really enjoy this pink shade here. It's a metallic. And while when you look at this palette, there's really only one pink shade, and you've got this like dual chrome here that does shift pink, purple. With these two combined, or even just this shade, you can create a look that's basically this packaging here, which I love. I can't stop looking at it every time I take it out. So for those reasons, I've ranked this palette at number 7. At number 6 is going to be Pat McGrath's Utopia Mothership 9 palette. And this isn't really a pink palette, unlike all the pastel and pink inspiration that we saw that she shared on Instagram. If not for maybe these two shades here, I don't think this palette would necessarily make it onto the list. However, it is still a Pat McGrath full mothership palette, and she does have some pretty exciting shades. So I think that's hard for me to ignore. Every time I pick up her mothership palette, it's just this really fun creative look comes out, and so that's why I put it on the list. But again, without this shade here especially, you wouldn't really get a pink look. But if you use this shade and you pack it on, you can definitely make anything else layer on top of it go with this, and you would still get a pink look. So it's a very strong pink shade. It's maybe a little bit coral leaning actually, but look how smooth that is. Great quality. At number 5, we have a very underrated eyeshadow palette from Koh Gen Doh. This is their 4 Looks Mineral Eyeshadow Palette, and it looks very simple, low-key, and true. The payoff is quite light, so I've got this very light kind of peachy pink shade, and then let me swatch something a little bit deeper here. And so you might think it's so light, why choose this palette? Well, I guess this palette is underrated, maybe because the pinks just don't really stand out. These neutral shades don't like particularly stand out, but they are beautiful. Once you put them on your lids, they just give you this very, very diffuse soft light look on your lids. But then if you add the right shade, like this one here, I could use it to make a halo eye or create a halo eye look with it. Same thing with the lighter pink shade like this one. It just pops. Like everything looks really soft and diffuse, like you have a filter on. But if you wanted to create a halo look, it definitely is still visible in spite of how soft these look compared to, you know, these other eyeshadows that I swatched. I think it is still available through Koh Gen Doh. This is supposed to be a limited edition eyeshadow palette. It is made in Japan, and notably printed on the back here, but I knew this going in when I bought this. No artificial colors, synthetic fragrance, mineral oil, paraben, or alcohol. So if that's important to you, there's also, you know, those cleaner ingredients factor going into this palette. In fact, I am going on a work trip very shortly here, and I'm actually gonna probably take this palette with me. I've got 2 very distinct sets of looks I could create. I can also do some mixing and matching. It's just easy, beautiful, but very, very classy. And so for that reason, I've ranked this at number 5. At number 4 is going to be the Sailor Moon x ColourPop collaboration eyeshadow palette. I did pick up a couple of items from this collection, but the eyeshadow palette is what makes the collection. It's the piece that really stands out. Look at these shades. They're beautiful. They're gorgeous. We don't have necessarily a lot of pink shades, but the 2 that are included, and then all the other shades that complement in terms of, well, shade difference or texture, it really allows you to get pretty creative and fun with your look. It's actually what I'm wearing today. And I put this from the lower lash line up to the center of the lid, and then I pop the pink right in the middle to give this a brighter pink look. Then I use the yellow plus the shade here for the crease, and then I use, I think, this shade here to, actually maybe this shade here to buff out some seams. I just love it. What you get for the price point and the quality of this is excellent. I do have a couple of other ColourPop palettes. This one's by far the best in terms of quality. The last three palettes are very interchangeable depending on my mood. And I think once I show you, you'll kind of see why that is. Certain palettes I didn't rank higher than maybe what I think they truly should be in my mind. Has to do with accessibility. And number 3 is going to be SUQQU's SCENTS Quad, and I didn't rank it any higher even though I really like this quad because it's no longer available. You might be able to get it off of Yahoo auctions in Japan, or somebody in Japan might be able to find it for you, and for that reason I didn't think there was a point to rank it any higher than that. But I just love the commitment SUQQU has towards this like pink palette. I mean, this is a gorgeous shade, and this here and the quality of the shadows, I'm just so impressed. I've had this for, I think, just shy of a year, but I find that the quality of the shadows, I haven't, you know, hit hard pan or anything like that. It's just really excellent and truly committed to pink. This shade here has that nice topper glitter. And because this quad is no longer available, what I'm going to do is in the description below, I'll link it to a different pink SUQQU quad that you should still be able to purchase because it's not limited edition. And the other interesting thing to note is SUQQU does, while they don't release the same thing again, they do kind of recycle their themes and ideas. I've noticed that. They're releasing a pure color blush as part of like pre-summer or summer collection, and it's like a bright medium pink, and this really reminds me of another limited edition pure color blush they released last year that is like this bright pink. So if you missed out on last year's blush, you might be able to pick up this one and get something kind of similar. They're both beautiful, they're just like a few shade differences apart. So whatever I can find, I'll put it below. At number 2 is Chanel's Le Beige palette in Tendre. This is quintessentially pink. It's beautiful. It's soft. When it comes to softness of eyeshadow palettes, I think it's going to go something like this. It's going to be the Koh Gen Doh Mineral Palette, followed by Hamish Rose Palette, and then the Chanel. So of all the, you know, soft pink palettes that I have that I'm showing you guys, this one tends to be more intense in pigment in comparison. And I really do love this palette. I've worn this, I have a whole video on this as well, so I have a link below, but I've worn this a couple of times, and every single time I'm like, oh, this is such a gorgeous soft pink. This is limited edition, so it may no longer be available, but it had been available for, I mean, 10 months since its release, so it might still. I'll have a link below if it is. So for that reason, I was a little bit more lenient in terms of ranking and not push it down any further, because you could have gotten it for quite a few months after its release. And finally, at number 1 is going to be Pat McGrath's Divine Rose 2 palette, and this is Mothership number 8. This is a multi-chrome. It looks predominantly kind of this fuchsia color, and then this is a metallic pink. You also have paired really nicely is this shade. I mean, just these two alone, it's gonna give you such a nice look. But you can pop this multi-chrome and really make things interesting. I'm sure you can see why that I've ranked this at number 1. It's not a palette that I go to every day, and I'm just going to dig into these two shades here, because these looks are not what I'm going to wear to work. But in terms of excitement and motivation, inspiration, this is it. Pat McGrath is it. And the quality of these shadows are excellent. I find that, and these are not the same, but I find that the fun the Sailor Moon palette invokes for me is the same fun and excitement this palette. The difference between the two are going to be the quality of the pigments. It's just more, it's much more expensive to get something like this. And these two, you can see just how buttery they are. How smooth. And then on top of that, you have the brand name itself. So they're not the same, but I think they're equally exciting in their own ways. And that's really great because there should be tons of makeup choices for everybody. And all those reasons, this is why Divine Rose 2 is #1 amongst all my pink palettes. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you very soon in the next one. Take care. Bye.